that's what I go back to. It's China's success, which is the problem.
Yep.
All right. No one expected China to be successful.
In
You
that
remember,
short period
So
of time, yep.
quickly.
well, all
Yeah.
the racist tropes that were out there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Chinese people, they're just not very creative. They're not aggressive. They're not the guy you
Yeah.
want running your company.
Yeah.
All right.
Indians is what you want.
Well, we don't want to be anti-Indian
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but I mean, in India, I mean, I know a lot of, and obviously in the U.S. have been very successful. There's a number of outstanding Indian CEOs, and they got there. But there is more of this thing where you talk about your accomplishments.
Yep.
Whereas culturally, if you're Asian,
Yeah.
to
Confucian
talk about
culture, yeah.
your
Confucian value.
Confucian value is not
Yeah.
to be showy. It's right. It's
Not to be
it's to be
flashy.
humble,
Yeah, it's be humble.
to show humility.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
by showing humility, you show that you are a true leader.
Yes.
That's how that goes in China. But in the Western system, they say, you know, he's not a go-getter. He doesn't, you know, run after it.
There's-
He doesn't
there's-
tell me how great he is.
But in this day and age, sometimes I think China should be more aggressive.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
but do you want to abandon your culture to
you
respond
don't
to something?
you don't abandon your culture, but sometimes, for example, I was asked a question by somebody from Hong Kong today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in terms of South China Sea, why don't you back down a little
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't be seen as the bully?
Yep.
But the situation with China today is not a question of being seen as a bully.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question of being regarded as someone who will kowtow to a bully.
Yep.
You
Yes.
see?
It's more complex, and
It is very complex.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
personally, I'd like to.
Yep.
What's your take on this? How
Well,
do
I
you
think,
see it?
Well, it's paraphrasing Mark Twain, right? It's the world doesn't owe you anything. It was here first. The same way compared to most countries in the world, China has been around for much longer than most of the countries. I mean, you talk about like English, like 1066. That's like Song Dynasty, which is like the 8th dynasty. That is like the major power. So, like China has come and gone. Like I mean, no, the countries around China and cultures have come and gone, and China's always been around.
Yeah.
So I think China just needs to stand its ground. I think exactly what you just said.
Okay.
We are here to stand up, and this is our land, and this is our position in the world, and this is where we are. And last time we checked, you guys went away. Some people went away, and we're still around. So
Okay,
yeah.
I can understand that, but
Yeah.
you know, from what I have seen and experienced in China, the issue isn't always about saying this is mine. It's about what is your position, what is my
Right, yep.
position, and how do we put these positions together
Yep.
so that there is mutual agreement, so you reach some sort of consensus. And I do think there is room for China to be more creative, not backing down to the U.S. or entities that are doing it, but saying, okay, to ASEAN as a whole. You know what the problem here is?
Yep.
You do not want the U.S. coming in here and doing what they did in Europe, Africa, South America, the Middle East, do
Yep.
you?
They're trying to do that right now with the Philippines.
The Philippines,
And
yep.
Taiwan as well.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Taiwan. But in terms of South China Sea, I say that Indonesia,
Yep.
Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, they're all willing to sit down and have a conversation
Yep.
about sharing the resources of South China Sea.
This
The
would be,
Philippines-
this to me would
Yep.
be the logical answer.
Except the Philippines, pushed by the Americans. Well, let's build more military bases. And
Well,
Susan-
there's only 400. Don't you need a few more? I mean.